You are more than just this body. You are more than just this mind. These are temporary. They come and they go. But there is something within you that is eternal. This is the Atma. The Atma is your true self. It is the spark of life that never diminishes. It is the silent witness, observing all experiences. It does not change with age, nor does it die with the body. It simply is. This understanding is the first step on an inner journey, a journey towards ultimate freedom and knowing. The Atma is often described as a fragment of the divine. Imagine an infinite ocean of consciousness. The Atma is like a drop from that ocean. It carries the same qualities as the vast ocean itself. Its fundamental nature is Satchitananda. This means existence, consciousness, and bliss. This is your inherent state. You are meant to exist fully, to be aware, and to experience a boundless joy. This is not something you acquire. It is something you uncover within yourself when the layers of illusion are peeled away. However, we often forget this profound truth. We become entangled in the world of names and forms. We identify with our thoughts, our emotions, our physical bodies. This identification creates a sense of separation. We feel limited, vulnerable, and incomplete. This mistaken identity is the root of much human suffering. It is like a king who forgets his royalty and lives like a beggar. The Atma remains pure and untouched, but our experience of it becomes clouded by ignorance. The true purpose of human life, then, is self-realization. It is to experientially know this Atma. It is to shift your identity from the limited ego to the limitless self. This is not just a philosophical concept. It is a living reality that one can strive for. All spiritual practices, in essence, are tools to help you cleanse the perception. They help you see beyond the transient and recognize the eternal spark that you are. This realization brings an end to all seeking, as you find fulfillment within. The universe operates on fundamental laws. Karma is one such law. It is not a system of reward and punishment meted out by some external entity. It is a natural principle of cause and effect. Every action you perform, whether physical, mental, or verbal, creates an imprint. This imprint, in turn, generates a corresponding consequence. You are the creator of your own destiny. What you sow, you shall inevitably reap. Understanding this empowers you to take charge of your life. It moves you from being a victim of circumstance to a conscious architect of your experience. Karma can be broadly understood through punya and pap. Punya refers to meritorious actions. These are actions that are aligned with Dharma, the cosmic order. When you act with kindness, compassion, honesty, and selflessness, you accumulate punya. These actions create positive vibrations. They lighten your being and pave the way for pleasant experiences. Punya is like planting good seeds. They will eventually sprout into beautiful flowers and nourishing fruits, enriching your life and the lives of those around you. On the other hand, pap refers to demeritorious actions. These are actions that go against the natural harmony. When you act out of greed, hatred, jealousy, or cruelty, you accumulate pap. These actions create negative vibrations. They create a sense of burden, a heaviness within. Pap is like sowing thorny seeds. These will grow into painful bushes, causing suffering and obstruction in your life's journey. It is not a punishment, but a natural consequence of discordant actions, a feedback mechanism of life itself. Every action, every thought, every intention leaves a subtle residue. These are called samskaras or karmic imprints. They are stored within your consciousness. These samskaras shape your tendencies, your patterns of thought, and your reactions to situations. They are the unseen forces that propel you in certain directions. Karma, therefore, is not just about external events. It is deeply about the kind of inner world you cultivate through your choices and actions. It is a continuous process of creation and experience. The Atma, Being eternal is not confined to a single lifespan. It is an eternal traveler. It journeys through countless forms, countless experiences. This journey is not random. It is guided by the accumulated karma. The body is like a garment that the Atma wears. When one garment wears out, another is taken up. This process of taking on new bodies is what is known as rebirth or reincarnation. It is a fundamental concept in understanding the soul's long pilgrimage through existence. Karma is the fuel that propels this cycle of rebirth. The unresolved karmic imprints, the samskaras, seek expression and resolution. If you have strong attachments, desires or aversions, they create an impetus for future experiences. If you have caused harm, the energy of that action seeks balance. If you have performed punya, its fruits need to be experienced. So the soul is drawn into new life circumstances that provide the appropriate environment for these karmic patterns to unfold. Each life becomes a new opportunity for learning, growth, and the working out of past karma. This continuous cycle of birth, life, death, and rebirth is called samsara. It can be seen as a vast cosmic school. We are here to learn certain lessons, to evolve our consciousness. However, if we remain caught in the grip of ignorance and desire, samsara can feel like a never-ending wheel. We repeat the same patterns, experience similar joys and sorrows, life after life. The key is to become aware of this process. It is to understand how our own actions bind us to this wheel, or how they can liberate us from it. The ultimate aim of the soul's journey is moksha, or liberation. Moksha means freedom from the cycle of samsara. It is the transcendence of karma. This happens when all karmic debts are cleared and all attachments are dissolved. It is when the Atma realizes its true nature, its oneness with the ultimate reality. This is not an escape but a fulfillment. It is the culmination of the soul's evolution, a return to its inherent state of freedom, consciousness, and bliss. This is the highest purpose. Modern science, in its relentless quest to understand life, has made remarkable discoveries. One of the most profound is the discovery of DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid. This intricate molecule resides within the cells of every living organism. It is the fundamental blueprint of life. It carries the genetic instructions, the hereditary information that defines a species and an individual. From the color of your eyes to your predisposition for certain traits, DNA holds the code. It is a testament to the incredible intelligence inherent in nature. Think of DNA as a vast microscopic library. It contains a complex set of instructions. These instructions dictate how an organism will develop, function, grow, and reproduce. This information is meticulously passed down from parents to offspring, generation after generation. This ensures the continuity of life and the inheritance of specific characteristics. Science has shown us that this physical mechanism of information transfer is incredibly precise. It is a language that life uses to perpetuate itself, a script written in the very fabric of our being. The transfer of information through DNA is a cornerstone of biology. It explains how physical traits, and even some behavioral tendencies, can be inherited. When a child resembles its parents, it is the expression of shared genetic material. This scientific understanding of heredity provides a tangible basis for how influences can be carried forward across time. It shows that we are not isolated entities, but part of a continuous stream of life, physically connected to our ancestors and in turn shaping our descendants. The sheer complexity and efficiency of DNA are awe-inspiring. Within each tiny cell, there is an enormous amount of information meticulously organized. This information not only builds our physical form but also influences our health, our longevity, and even some aspects of our temperament. While science primarily focuses on the material aspects, this concept of information being stored and passed on provides a fascinating parallel to ancient spiritual understandings of how life's patterns continue. as we shall explore. This physical blueprint is a marvel of nature's engineering. Section 5. Ancient Resonance, where soul meets science. When we look at ancient wisdom and modern science, they may seem like different paths. Yet sometimes they converge in surprising ways. The Hindu understanding of karmic imprints, or samskaras, being carried by the soul can find a fascinating echo in the scientific concept of DNA. DNA carries physical and, to some extent, behavioral information across generations. Similarly, samskaras are subtle impressions of experiences and actions that are said to be carried by the soul, influencing future lives and tendencies. Both speak of a continuity of information. Consider the idea of genetic memory. Science is exploring how certain experiences of ancestors might leave a trace in the genetic makeup, influencing descendants. This is akin to the spiritual understanding that strong experiences and unresolved karmas create deep samskaras. These samskaras shape our inherent tendencies, our likes and dislikes, our fears and talents, which may seem to come from nowhere. While DNA explains the physical inheritance, the concept of samskaras offers a framework for understanding the inheritance of subtle psychological and experiential patterns. The field of epigenetics further deepens this connection. Epigenetics studies how external factors like environment, diet, and stress, essentially our experiences and actions, can modify how our genes are expressed. This means that our life choices can influence our genetic legacy. This resonates powerfully with the concept of karma, where our actions, punya or pap, directly shape our present and future realities. It shows that the blueprint is not entirely fixed. It can be influenced, much like karmic patterns can be modified by conscious effort and right action. Ultimately, both science and spirituality are seeking to understand the deeper mechanisms of life. Science explores the material realm, while spirituality delves into the subtle and the conscious. The parallels between DNA as a carrier of physical information and karma as a carrier of experiential information suggest a profound underlying unity. They both point towards the idea that life is not a series of random events. There are underlying principles of continuity and consequence that shape our existence, whether we look through the lens of a microscope or the lens of inner perception. Section 6. Punya's Harvest. Crafting a Positive Destiny. Punya, or meritorious action, is a powerful force in shaping your destiny. When you engage in acts of kindness, generosity, truthfulness, and selfless service, you are essentially cultivating positive energy. These actions create harmonious vibrations within you and around you. They lighten your karmic load. Punya is not just about accumulating good points. It is about aligning yourself with the natural flow of existence, with Dharma. This alignment naturally brings about a sense of well-being, peace, and positive experiences. The accumulation of punya has a direct impact on the soul's journey. It is said that significant punya can lead to more auspicious births. This means being born into environments that are conducive to spiritual growth, happiness, and fulfillment. It can mean better health, supportive relationships, and opportunities to do further good. This is not a reward from an external judge, but a natural consequence of the positive energies you have generated. Just as good seeds sown in fertile soil yield a rich harvest, good actions yield a life filled with more grace and fewer obstacles. The concept of heaven or swarga in Hindu philosophy is not necessarily a physical place in the sky. It is more accurately understood as a state of being, a prolonged experience of joy, peace, and harmony. This state is a direct outcome of a life predominantly filled with punya. When your actions have created immense positivity, your consciousness dwells in a realm of delight. This is the heaven you create for yourself through your deeds. It is an experiential reality, a period of enjoying the fruits of your positive karma before the soul continues its journey. Therefore, consciously cultivating punya is an intelligent way to live. This involves more than just occasional good deeds. It means cultivating virtues like compassion, empathy, integrity, and forgiveness in your daily life. It means making choices that benefit not just yourself, but also others. Engaging in spiritual practices like meditation, prayer, and chanting also generates punya, as they purify the mind and elevate consciousness. By actively choosing the path of punya, you become a co-creator of a more joyful and fulfilling destiny for yourself. Section 7. Pap's Shadow, the burden of negative deeds. Just as punya illuminates the path, pap, or demeritorious action, casts a shadow. Pap arises from actions driven by ignorance, selfishness, greed, anger, hatred, and other negative impulses. When you cause harm to others, whether through thought, word, or deed, you accumulate pap. These actions create discordant vibrations. They disrupt your inner harmony and create a sense of unease, guilt, or heaviness. This is the immediate feedback from life, indicating a misalignment with the natural order of things. The accumulation of pap inevitably leads to suffering and difficult circumstances. It creates obstacles on your path, both in this life and in future ones. You might find yourself facing repeated patterns of misfortune, unhealthy relationships, or inner turmoil. These are not arbitrary punishments. They are the natural consequences of the negative energies you have set in motion. Life presents these challenges as opportunities to learn, to understand the cause and effect relationship of your actions, and to make amends. The burden of pap can feel heavy, weighing down the soul. Similarly, the concept of hell or naraka is not merely a subterranean place of fire and brimstone. It is, more profoundly, a state of intense suffering and anguish experienced by the consciousness. This state is the direct consequence of a life dominated by pap. When one has consistently engaged in harmful and negative actions, the resulting karmic imprints create an inner world of torment, fear, and despair. This hell is a psychological and experiential reality, a period of enduring the painful repercussions of one's own misdeeds. It is a harsh lesson, but one that ultimately serves the soul's evolution. However, it is important to understand that pap is not an eternal condemnation. Hindu philosophy emphasizes that karmic effects, including those of pap, are not permanent. They can be mitigated and eventually dissolved. This can happen through sincere repentance, performing corrective actions, engaging in acts of punya, and dedicated spiritual practices. Awareness is the first step. By recognizing the patterns of negativity and consciously choosing a different path, one can begin to lighten the karmic load and move from the shadow of pap into the light of positive transformation. Section 8. Beyond Self. Our Actions, Humanity's Future. The law of karma operates not only on an individual level, but also on a collective level. The actions of individuals, when aggregated, contribute to the karma of a family, a community, a nation, and indeed all of humanity. Every thought we think, every word we speak, and every action we perform sends out ripples into the collective consciousness. If many individuals engage in positive, constructive actions, the collective environment becomes more harmonious and supportive. Conversely, widespread negativity and harmful actions create a toxic collective atmosphere. We are all interconnected in a vast web of existence. No person is an island. Your well-being is intrinsically linked to the well-being of others and to the health of the planet itself. When you act with compassion and responsibility, you contribute positively to this web. When you act with selfishness or destructiveness, you create disturbances that affect more than just yourself. Understanding this interconnectedness brings a profound sense of responsibility. It means realizing that your personal choices have far-reaching implications. This understanding places a significant responsibility upon each one of us. The future of humanity is not predetermined. It is actively being shaped by our collective actions in the present moment. The kind of world our children and future generations will inherit depends heavily on the choices we make today. If we choose paths of greed, conflict, and environmental destruction, we bequeath them a legacy of suffering. If we choose paths of cooperation, compassion, and sustainable living, we create a foundation for a brighter future for all beings. Therefore, creating a positive collective future requires conscious effort from each individual. It means cultivating awareness of how our actions impact the larger whole. It involves making ethical choices in our consumption, our interactions, and our contributions to society. By striving for peace within ourselves, we contribute to peace in the world. By practicing kindness and empathy, we foster a more compassionate human family. Every positive action, no matter how small it may seem, adds to the collective punya, steering humanity towards a more enlightened and sustainable existence. Section 9. Living with Purpose, a Legacy for Generations. The eternal journey of the soul, guided by the law of karma, calls us to live with profound awareness and purpose. When you understand that your Atma is timeless and that your actions shape your ongoing experience, life takes on a deeper meaning. It is no longer just about fleeting pleasures or momentary pains. It becomes an opportunity for conscious evolution, for refining your being, and for contributing positively to the unfolding drama of existence. This understanding transforms everyday life into a sacred practice. Living well, then, is not merely about personal gain. It is about aligning your actions with Dharma, with the universal principles of righteousness and harmony. This naturally benefits you, bringing peace and fulfillment, but it also extends outwards, benefiting all those whose lives you touch and contributing to the well-being of the entire planet. When you live from a place of integrity, compassion, and wisdom, you become a beacon of light. Your life itself becomes an offering, an inspiration for others to also walk a path of goodness. The true legacy we leave behind is not measured in material possessions or worldly achievements. These are transient. The most enduring legacy is the quality of karmic imprints we create and the positive impact we have on the world. It is the love we shared, the kindness we offered, the wisdom we embodied. These subtle energies continue to resonate, influencing future generations in ways we may not even comprehend. Striving to leave a legacy of punya, of positive vibrations, is a noble aspiration that benefits the continuum of life. Ultimately, the purpose of this grand journey is to evolve, to realize our true divine nature, and to assist others in their own evolution. Heaven and hell are not distant destinations, but states of consciousness we create through our deeds, here and now, and experience hereafter. By choosing to live a life of virtue, awareness, and selfless service, we not only craft a luminous destiny for our own soul, but also contribute to a better, more enlightened world for all who will come after us. This is the path to true fulfillment, a life lived with meaning and grace, creating a beautiful tomorrow.